the northern lights.
Northern lights.
Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo, because I am Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo. And as always, I have some friends joining me to talk about life in general, but through the lens of Bravo. Right now, I just have my friend Jasper, but Giselle will be joining us a little bit later. But to get started, for those of you joining for the first time, my name is Nyemade. I am that African butterfly on social media. I do various lives and different things on my Instagram page. Then I have my YouTube page here where I have this series and where I also have a vlog as well. So that's just a little bit about me. My links will be below. Jasper, would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Jasper, but I'm also known as the King of Shade. I am a vlogger. I've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years. I do all my content is through my Instagram, but I'm also a podcaster of a podcast called Making It Make Sense with Isaiah, Jasper, and Theo, my other two co-hosts. So I've been doing a lot this year and really like growing my brand as a blogger. You know, I'm known for keeping it real and being honest. And people love it, people hate it, but I enjoy the hate and the love.
Yeah.
So it is what comes with the territory. And I love me some Bravo, honey. I'm a housewife stand, honey. I live for the housewives.
Yes, and we love talking housewives. And I've actually been in a couple clubhouse rooms with you, and your opinion and insight always has me cracking up. I remember when I was like, oh, I understand why you're called the King of Shade.
Yes, honey. I live up to it, honey.
So normally with these, I start with playing Black Card Revoked, but it's a little more fun with a couple more people. So we're going to hold off and wait till Giselle gets here, and we'll just start our chit chat now.
Okay.
Our main topic today is, relationships where it seems like the relationship thrives when one person is under the thumb of another person. So sometimes, like people, you think most relationships, people are in equal footing, side by side, but some relationships, it seems like as one person sort of rises up and does better, the relationship falls apart or is on solid ground because the other person who's used to being, I guess, the more successful one, the more whatever one, can't really handle that. Like, is that something that you've seen before? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I've seen it and witnessed it, and it's very uncomfortable at times to even like be around it because it's like this unsaid tension, unsaid issue, where it seems that one person feels threatened by because their friend may be in a position that may be considered to be higher or above them, and that person may not be acting or coming off as that way, but because the other person is insecure and envious, the dynamic kind of becomes very contentious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think that there are just naturally some people who feel better. And the thing is, it's not even always from a place of wanting the person to be doing poorly or because you don't believe in that person. I've seen it more often where it's just like the person who's a little bit superior in the relationship normally might just be the type of person who likes helping other people. Like they only feel useful when they're helping other people. So when they lose that dynamic in the relationship, they no longer know where they stand because in their mind, they're only useful they're only beneficial when they're useful.
True. It's true.
So like if we talk about some of the housewives, so let's start with Kathy and Kyle. I feel like this applies to their relationship because and I mean it's harder because we just got Kathy in, on the show.
Yes.
But I can imagine being the oldest, she's the oldest, and being so very successful that I would imagine that when Kyle sort of became a housewife and became more successful and was out there more, that it probably impacted the dynamic of the relationship. I know that Kathy threatened, I think, to sue over that show that Kyle did, The American Woman. But even before then, I think she said had been having rocky times. Do you think that might be part of it? Part of why?
It could be. I'm gonna say. I mean, it could be part of the issue because I think more so on Kyle's end. I mean, because Kathy Hilton. She's successful. She is has this life that she basically married into, and so I think that Kyle feels like a little bit envious because Kyle has to kind of work to maintain her life, whereas Cassie does not really have to work. She doesn't need to hold a diamond. Like she didn't need to glue the show. She did it just for fun, really, like
Right.
just to do something different. Whereas
Yeah.
Kyle, this is her job. This is her livelihood. It helps her maintain the fabulousness that she gives us every season. So I think there's definitely envious between the friends, and sometimes it happens with friends. One friend is really successful, or maybe a little bit jealousy, there on Kyle's end, unfortunately, but it
But don't you
happens.
think that like it's more so in this case, and I'm sure there might be some on Kyle's end, but I think because Kathy has always been in sort of that position, the oldest, the one
Mm-hmm.
with the money and all of that, I don't think that it would have affected their relationship as much this far in. I mean, we never, obviously, all of this is speculation because we have no clue what really goes on. But I feel like this many years in, it wouldn't have affected their relationship as much as Kyle suddenly getting more popular and more money and being like sort of have a higher ranking. I could see that sort of like wrinkling Kathy a little bit, that like her little sister, who was always just her little sister, and that was their relationship, and that was fine. Now her little sister in her own right is becoming sort of a, I guess, power player, if you will, whatever that means in
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood terms. But becoming kind of like a power player. So I could see that causing friction on Kathy's end more.
I get what you're saying because I can see that because Kathy probably feels like, well, Kyle, now that Kyle's relevant, she's more current, whereas Kathy is kind of dated. She's only known for being a part of the Hilton family and that brand, and that brand is not really current. So I can see what you're saying. Like there could be a threat in for Kathy because Kyle is like this new breakout star who is this is her show. This is Kyle's show. Like Kathy's on Kyle's show. Like if you look at the
Right.
totem pole, Kathy's the head apple. I mean, the head diamond, and
Yeah,
here Kathy's a friend. So it I can see the dynamic, and yeah, and Kathy, who is this woman who has all this money, probably does not like to feel like I'm at the bottom when I'm really at the top. So I can see,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's a good thing that she's gotten such a good edit then, because everyone's loving her.
Oh
I think
yeah,
interesting though. Okay, so I like Kathy. I've
me
been
too.
a Kyle fan from the beginning. It is what it is. I'm Team Kyle. Um, and so like I like Kathy and she's fun, but I always think it's so interesting how like she will be the one to instigate a lot of stuff, but like it never comes
Mhm.
back on her. It comes back like, you know what I mean? It's like people are too, sorry, my earring came out. I
Oh, you
lost the bat.
fine?
It's like people are too intimidated by her because of the level of her wealth and her influence in
Oh
Hollywood,
yeah.
that they don't say anything to her. Like, so when someone else makes the jokes or when she does it, like they get mad at other people. Or like when she brought up the peeping Tom thing again with Sutton. Sutton didn't lose it on her. Sutton lost it on Crystal. And
Mhm.
then I think there was like another instance, maybe it was Lisa or maybe she said something to Dorit, I think maybe. And then Dorit talked to Garcelle. It's just like there's been a few instances where it's like Kathy's really the one triggering this stuff, but no one wants to confront her. They want to confront the other people. But
Oh yeah.
lucky her, I say.
Yeah, because it's definitely like you said an intimidation factor because like you say, look at Kathy as this she's like an icon in a way like she is synonymous with the Hilton, so that's her legacy and she has so much they respect her so much that they don't want to be the one to have conflict with Kathy Hilton because how would that look that they're on the show fighting with Kathy Hilton. So I
Right.
get it. I would be the same way. I probably be even more uncomfortable to even engage in a confrontation, let alone ask a question that may, make me look bad. But Garcelle, she actually had a moment with Kathy that was cringy. So I was
Yeah.
shocked that she was bold enough to
Oh,
engage.
Garcelle does not care, and I love that
But
about her.
I love Garcelle
Yeah.
to even, because everybody else was, like you said, scared to even have a conversation
Right.
that could be confrontational with Kathy. So
Yeah, I mean, even this is, and like even the viewing audience, because I remember when they were all sitting around with Garcelle, her and no, it wasn't Dorit, Crystal and Erica. And Kathy was like, I didn't even know who Sutton was. And like the other two said, oh, we didn't know who she was either. But the audience lost it at Crystal saying it. But Kathy and Erica said it as well. And I mean, I know that for some, like they didn't know. I think very much people think like someone's only important if you know who they are, right? Like, so the big names. And they don't often realize, especially when we look at Hollywood, that the people we think are like so important are so not. Like in the Hollywood realm, as far as like producers, executive producers, like the celebrities that we're in awe of are pretty, like there are a few totem poles down, and the people who really run the show are often the others, and they're the ones whose name we don't know, but they're the powers. They're the ones writing the checks for the celebrities.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree 100%.
Yeah, so I just think that there's a lot of that with Hollywood. So I think even, like with like a Crystal saying like, oh, I didn't know who she was either, and people are like, oh, well, we didn't know who you are, but she's a power player in there, even if it's just, and I hate it when Garcelle was like, oh, well, your husband, because I hate when we act like women, like they don't matter as much if they have a famous husband when they do. But
exactly, they do.
They do. Little pet peeve of mine. So with that friendship dynamic, we also saw it. I feel like, oh boy, I can already, hold on, everyone. Let me brace myself for this conversation, because I did not realize until right before we started recording that we would be having it with a Team Ramona person. Oh, look at this. Saved by Garcelle or by Giselle. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh.
Thank you so much for joining.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Oh, now I can. Alrighty.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining.
So sorry for the delay.
Oh, no, it's no problem. We were just, we introed the topic and we talked about one pair. We talked a little bit about Kathy and Kyle. But now that you're here, we'll have you introduce yourself. And then we waited for you to play the game.
So thank you.
Yourself, and then we'll play, and then we'll get back to the conversation.
Okay. Hi, I am Zelle from the Who Asked Me podcast.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So, you're from the Who Asked Me podcast, and you're on Instagram and all that good stuff. I'll include her link below. And you like to be called Zelle?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. And then, and so this. Oh, I'm not sure if you two already know each other. This is Jasper for the
Nice to meet
Shade.
Yeah.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so normally I start each episode off with a game of Black Card Revoked, a few questions, because, bold, black, and addicted to Bravo, we got to make sure we got our black cards. Absolutely. So I'm going to ask a few questions. Most of these are majority rules, so there's no right answer. Oh, there's one with a right answer. I'll start with that one then. Okay. What does TWA stand for? Tight, wavy afro, tailored, wavy, and all natural, treated, washed, and all natural, teeny weeny afro.
Oh.
It's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with tight wavy afro.
Close. It's teeny weeny afro, which I've actually never heard it called TWA in my life, but
I was gonna go with that one too. That sounds more like humorous.
All right, so this is majority rule, so it's whoever we decide on. Who's the soulful singer that can't dance? Mariah Carey, Maxwell, Rihanna, Mary J. Blige. I feel like it's rude to even have Rihanna on this list. She can
It
dance,
is because she can dance.
right?
I'm going to say Mariah. It's a tad
Yeah, I've never
because
seen.
I feel like she can dance.
I'm gonna say Mariah too. I mean, she's my fellow Aries, but she knows she just stays in one place, and she's good at it.
Good at. I mean, she has
good at it
on her amazing vocal, so we understand Mariah.
We understand.
All right. If you've never watched this TV show, you need your black card revoked. Good Times, The Jefferson, A Different World, In Living Color. I vote for In Living Color.
I'm gonna say Good Times.
I feel like all of them, like all,
yes,
I feel like every
all
single, all of them play a vital role. Like, you should see all of them.
I agree.
You really should.
So we'll just say all of the above.
Yes.
And we'll pretend like I haven't seen two of those on that list.
Wait, which one?
Which ones?
Good Times and A Different World.
Oh, you gotta watch those. Some iconic.
I need to find them and watch them. Yeah.
I think A Different World is on Hulu. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, A Different World, is that the one where they're in college? No,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen A Different World. Okay, so it's only Good Times I haven't seen. So
you haven't seen Good Times?
Yeah, Good Times.
Is that the one Janet Jackson was in? And the one
she at the end. Yeah, but like
I've heard of it. I've never watched it though.
Oh no, my mom was like, my mom was like, Good Times is on. Everybody sit down.
Nope.
Yes.
All right. Oh, this is shady. Who has the worst edges? Stevie Wonder, Naomi Campbell, Tamar Braxton, LeBron James.
Who, Chad? I know two of
them.
Oh my God.
You know what? I was gonna say Tamar, but Tamar done regrew her edges and she started over.
Yeah, and she was bald for a while.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Naomi.
Naomi?
Yeah.
No.
I don't want Naomi to ever possibly throw anything at me. I'm
saying something bad about Naomi.
Going to go with Stevie.
That's who I was thinking, even though I felt bad. I'm like, LeBron's edges, they're good. And
his hairline is the problem.
Is it?
Yeah, the hairline. Yes.
I'll say LeBron. I don't want him to either. No, I'm gonna stick with Stevie as well. Because that's who I was first gonna say. All right. Whose music got worse after they changed their life? Gucci Mane, Mary J. Blige, Mace, Donnie McKirkland.
Mace. Ooh. I will never turn my back on Mary. Never.
Right. And her music didn't get worse.
No, yeah.
And does Mace even have music? Because Mace music, didn't he only have one album? So I
think so.
Yeah.
And therein lies the answer to that.
Yeah, there you go.
According to men, what's one thing women should still do? Cook and clean, stay at home, have babies, know their place.
Ooh.
Nobody better say that to me. I know that much. Not nan one of them.
Not a single one.
I'm gonna say cook and clean.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that one too.
Still universal. Yeah. All right. Good job. We also
when they have children, she's not cooking.
We also have our black cards.
Well, the Shade Room just posted that thing that was like somebody posted like, oh, if a man has a woman, he should always be fed and laundry done or something. And I was like, oh my God, we're not having this conversation.
No. I mean, there are some very traditional loving women, and I hope they find their traditional loving men. Just like keep me out of it because I don't.
Same.
Yeah, because it's like a slave. Like no, we don't. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like a full-time slave when you want them to do all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a trade-off. There is something to be said for that. I just think a lot of people get into that situation and it's not what they want. But for those who genuinely want it and find joy and pleasure in it, I love it all for them. I don't look down on it. I think that's fantastic.
Right.
Again, just keep me out of it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm team everybody knowing what they're getting into, before they get into it.
And not feeling like they're forced into it when they
want to.
Yeah. So the conversation today is under your thumb. So we're talking about relationships where like one person, we feel like the relationship dynamic might change when one person who was formerly like, kind of like on like a lower level, whether it's socially, whatever, financially than the other person, and how that impacts their relationship when it changes. And I was saying too that it's not even always in malice that the other person wants to someone down. Sometimes it's because like that other person, the more superior one, is used to being helpful and only sees their role as being helpful. So when the other person no longer needs them, sometimes they lose their place. It's not necessarily because they want to keep them down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we were just about to move on to Sonia and Ramona, and I was actually just telling everybody that I had to brace myself because I did not realize until right before we started recording that Jasper's team Ramona.
Huh?
Yes.
Girl,
Ramona, yes.
that.
OG, honey, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Team Ramona, yes.
I know.
I am notoriously team anybody but Ramona.
I have been non-Ramona for probably since the first, second season. I can't with her, but
I love Ramona.
So with this one, I thought that they were a good example of this because they sort of, I feel like, kind of started the same in life, and both like rose up from the way they've described it, right? In their marriages, and both became successful and doing all of those things. But then along the way, Sonia sort of slipped. I mean, Ramona's not married anymore, but she still was, you know, I guess you would say a higher echelon. And they hang around sort of the same circles, but I feel like seeing their dynamic and stuff, that the fact that they're in different places in life kind of plays a role in their friendship and maybe why they're not as close as they used to be. What do you think?
I don't know. I see like a stark like difference in Ramona and Sonia. Maybe it's after the fact, because you remember like, was it Aviva season 5 and 6 when she was like, oh, like really more so season 5 when she was coming after them. And she said, you look a little better next to Sonia, don't you, Ramona? A little less drunk, a little less. I do think that that's why Ramona has always kept her around from what I've seen from when Sonia first came on, is because she does look a lot better. Even though we don't know beforehand, before the show ever was. But I have to imagine like Sonia, I'm sorry, I have to say, she's irresponsible in a lot of ways. And I get that. Like, I
still can't get over her ignoring $2,000 checks to the tune of $10,000 and then saying she never got paid. Like,
yeah, like, I'm sorry,
life, but
if you owe me $2,000, I need my money. Okay.
And she was like, oh, it was just $2,000, so I didn't pay attention to it.
But it's like it's like, Sonia, this is why you're in the situation you're in now, like trying to rent out this townhouse. But I feel like Sonia, you know, was like, oh, I'm married to a Morgan, I'm always going to be okay regardless of like what happens. And it's kind of like, oh, well, girl, look where we are now. Okay. She had that mindset that because she has yet to change her name, she will always be Sonia Morgan. You know what I mean? Ramona, what I will give her is, even she didn't see, you know, her marriage between Mario and her taking the route that it did, but she did set herself up for success.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She made sure she was going to be all right. Okay. Yeah. Sonia is just like a businesswoman. She is business minded.
On that. Yeah.
Sonia is like, well, I'm Sonia Morgan. Okay. And when the Morgan name started to wear out, it was like, well, I've made this character for myself on TV now. I'm Sonia Morgan. You know what I mean? Yeah. Still, at the end of the day, I'm Sonia. And it's like, no, baby, we need to see some action. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think that she keeps her around for that reason. And I mean, I'm sure there's still kind of a level of real friendship there, but you definitely see, especially like the things they say to each other when they're angry. It's like, do you guys even really like each other anymore? Or is this just Jess, what do you think?
Is
It's breaking up for me. Is it breaking up for you, Zell, or is it just?
Yeah. No, it's breaking up for me as well. Oh, I just noticed Jasper's frozen for me also.
Yeah, he's frozen for me now too. Okay, Jasper, you're frozen. Hopefully your Wi-Fi comes back in a minute. While we wait for that, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree, and it's interesting to see that type of friendship, and especially as you get older, because it's hard having like long friendships, especially when one person gets a divorce and one person doesn't, and they're together and they're not together.
Jasper's back. Sorry.
Okay. Y'all can see me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So what do you think about Sonia and Ramona's friendship?
I think Ramona is fabulous. I think that Ramona is awesome. I think that she's a great friend. And I think Sonia just didn't know how to appreciate a great friend in Ramona. And I feel like Sonia needs to grow up a little bit. I feel like she needs needs to work on herself a little bit more in that aspect. But I think that, Ramona was a great friend to her.
Do you think part of why Ramona keeps Sonia around is because Sonia is unfortunately a bit of a mess and it helps Ramona look good?
I think I think she keeps Sonia around because this kind of person Ramona values Sonia in some aspect to keep her around, keep her as a friend. So I think she finds value in Sonia. And I like Sonia too. So I think she has value and Sonia's value in her. So Sonia should be grateful.
All right, we'll take that.
I will say, when it comes to Ramona and Sonia, I do think that Ramona is a good friend. I think that she has her as in Sonia's best intentions most of the time, 85% of the time. Yeah. But if it comes to like Ramona choosing herself over Sonia, she's gonna choose Ramona. But like even this past season with like her coming to her business meeting and everything, and standing up for her the way she did, I mean, that is a great friend. Okay. Yeah. And that's the way she could help. And then also when Sonia got COVID but like I think that's a double-edged sword. I will say, I think that Sonia on a certain level keeps Ramona around because it's like, who knows what's going to come out of Singer's mouth. And Ramona gets a lot. I realize that this season, Ramona gets a lot more of the backlash of like watch what you say, things like that. And Sonia kind of flies under the radar with it. But I was side-eyeing Sonia.
I think it's because Sonia saves herself in confessionals. She's very smart like that. Like she'll say outrageous things and then say like the best things in confessionals. So you're like, oh, okay. Versus like Ramona will double down on whatever bad things she's in her confessional. So then we're still annoyed with her.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I do agree. I do think that Ramona does appreciate their friendship and is to a certain extent a good friend to Sonia. Ramona just gives me very much like the vibes of, I would be interested to see how many of Ramona's friends she really feels like she's truly peers with, because I feel like a lot of times when I look at her friendship, and this is just from what we've seen on the show, and I'm sure she has lots of friendships outside of that, but from what we've seen on the show, it seems more like she's either friends with people in a level where like with Sonia needs her. Sonia's a little bit of a mess. And I don't think that I would be interested to see how their friendship would be if Sonia like really shaped up, got someone, was with one, if their friendship would still thrive. Hey. So I think that I feel like most of her friendships are either people that need help or people that she's aspiring to be like she wants to be on their circle. She wants to be in their realms. And it just feels like everybody else who would be more of a peer to her, she has issues with or jealousy problems with.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah. All right, Jasper, before we move on, did you want to say anything else about your darling Ramona?
I just think she's fabulous and I love her, and she is the staple of the show, and I hope and I know she's gonna return next season. So
Are you coming to the cookout tomorrow night? Because that'll be interesting having a Ramona person. So for those watching, actually by the time this airs, it will already be posted, but we're having a cookout special. We're talking about the Real Housewives of New York because it just finished. So it's going to be like all the people from, well, those who can make it from the past few episodes all together talking about the whole season. So you'll probably be a lone wolf on the Ramona, on Team Ramona if you come, but it'll be good to have your viewpoint.
Oh yeah, it's like a housewife.
Like the chat rooms, yeah. Okay, so then the next one, as far as like, can friendships survive a dynamic change? When we look at Married to Medicine, I was thinking about Toya, and is it Naja? Is that how you pronounce her name? What's Toya's friend's name? I always forgot.
Naja?
It is Naja, okay. Yeah, Toya and Naja, because she brought her in, and I feel like Toya always expected like unyielding loyalty for that. But then Naja came in and now she's becoming friends with people on her own right. And I think it's impacting their friendship because Toya loses that like little bit of leverage over her. Is that how you see their friendship?
Who you asking?
Either whoever wants to jump in.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Jasper.
You can go. You can go. You were going to start. I can wait.
Well, I always just find the friendship, like the real friendship thing, really weird on all of these shows, not just Married to Medicine. And how I see it is like, I don't blame Naja for forming her own relationships, but I do think that there needs to be, you know, some type of communication. Like, okay, this is my girl, and I know we're budding a friendship, but that's my girl. Okay. So y'all's issues, you're not going to sit here and disrespect or talk disrespectfully about my girl to me. And, you know, if I hear that, I'm gonna have to put a stop to it. All right. It's just same thing with like kind of Rinna and Garcelle.
Yeah.
And Denise, if you want to throw all three of them in there. I just truly think Denise and Garcelle got on Beverly Hills and were like, who are you to Rinna? Yeah. And she was like, ha ha ha, welcome to my wheelhouse. Like, this is how we're going to do this here, with no type of, you know, explanation or like, hey, just so you know, when we get on the show, this is how it works. Yeah. I don't think she did anything to help her actual friends. And now those real friendships are forever
messed up
because there wasn't any clear communication. I just feel like there should be an understanding between both parties, the person who has been on the show and the person who is coming, who's being brought in before, you know.
I absolutely agree. Jasper?
I just feel like what's her name? Naja. Naja, the name?
Yeah, Naja.
I feel like I feel like, and I felt like on watching the season that she was fake phony and she only climb, but she didn't start climb because on the first day was.
Sorry, you're cutting in.
Money. Who? Can you hear me?
It's cutting it out for me.
Kind of, yeah. It's going in and out for me too.
No, you're frozen now. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Technology, right?
Usually it's me. Usually I'm the one with the technical difficulty.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying, like, do you see that pause too? Because I'm not sure if it's like on that end or my end. I think you're back.
Yeah, I think so.
Nope, just froze again. But I think you're saying that Naja is shady, I think is what you said, which I agree with. And I would like to harp on that because, but.
No, just question. I can't remember. How long did Naja and Toya know each other prior?
Not that long.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a deep friendship.
Right.
But I really have a problem with, if we're friends and we have a falling out, of all the people you could go talk to, you're going to go pick out the one person you know I have the biggest issue with.
That part.
And to me, that's when she like lost major points for me, because I liked her up to that. I still do, but I'm like, that's so shady. You could have talked to any other woman, but you purposely went to the one woman that you know has been talking trash about, who is allegedly your friend. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like in this, like, I can't remember.
Y'all see me?
Are you back?
Yes.
Okay. I remember I was in the, I can't remember if it was like a psychology thing, something for work. And it was like talking about, you know, when you disagree with somebody, how likely you are to go, who you're likely to go to. And it's always the person that is going to tell you in any situation what you want to hear, the person that you know is going to like resonate with you. And it's the same for arguments, like that's why people go to. But I'm like, if you really care about the friendship in the person, I'm not going to go to the person that I know like cannot stand you. I have close friends that don't like each other, and it's hard for me. But when I get into it with one of them, I don't go to the person that I know that they can't stand, because I'm like, I want to fix this relationship. That's what I don't understand about Naja. Like, what
Like,
were
you? Went to
you?
Dr. Simone.
Simone
what
did you think was going to happen? Yeah. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
I feel like Nyla came on the show. She came on, she had a motive, and she was fake and phony, because as soon as she had the opportunity to, she threw Chloe onto the bus to link up with Contessa, Quad, Jackie, and Shrek. And so I feel like she wasn't a real friend, because a real friend wouldn't switch up on a friend like that just because we have a falling out. And the falling out was stupid because she did not pay that man that day. She did not pay him his money. So for her to be mad at Toya because Toya letting her know, hey, you didn't pay my the artist, hairstyles, and makeup artists to do their job. They sent me the invoice because I'm your friend. They let me know, to let you know as my friend, that, hey, sis, you didn't pay your bill. Please pay this man because he's getting on my nerves. Instead, she took that moment to try to drag Toya and linked up with them fake ass chicks over there, and they not her friends. The squad only befriended her because she has a fake beef with Toya. A beef just came out of the air with Miss Toya, and she try to stay on the show. So of course she would create this dynamic of, we're gonna be fake friends, and because it's fake fast friends. Y'all became friends that quick. You don't even know her. Like, only person that knew her was Toya. So how, this friendship organically coming together is not real. And I just feel like Nyla, came out very phony and fake, and she really made herself look bad, because you don't have to do that to maintain success on the show. But I also get it, because she looked at it as strategy. If I be friends with the people that it's more of them over there, it's only me and Toya. Yeah. So if I befriend them, then the power dynamic will be better for me to be over there, because then if I want to come back next season, I have some allegiance over here versus me being with Toya on the outside. So I get it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I think she was very strategic with it. The crazy thing is, even with the whole not paying the makeup person, I was actually still on Naja's, not on her side, but I was understanding why she was upset. Because if you're my friend, I don't know, maybe it's just me, like, if it's something negative, like, talk to me when we're alone. Like, do not talk to me and embarrass me in front of other people. And I don't mean because obviously they're on a show, but there are other people on the bus, and Toya could have taken her and had that conversation with her privately. And if I was Naja, I would have been pissed as well. Like, don't embarrass me in front of other people if you're allegedly my friend. So I got that.
I get that as well. I think the situation with the paying the hair artist and hair and makeup artist, like, it struck a little nerve for me because I used to do hair and makeup. So I just don't and I've never understood this because I've been in the position before. I provided you a service. So I agree with everything that you're saying, Nyemade. Like, you're right. Like, she should have taken her to the side, and I wouldn't appreciate that either. But I just, because I'm like, girl, you got your hair and makeup done, didn't you? So we pay, like, and then when she was like, oh, y'all really want to get paid, don't you? I took it, time, product, like, duh, what do you mean?
That was weird.
I just like the way she received the information from Toya, but I was just like, you are losing me on so many different levels here, because why do you think when you get something done on your house, you pay the carpenter, okay? You got to pay them. Why would you think any differently for this situation? It was so bizarre to me. Like, I was weirded out by that.
That was when I started maybe she's a little shady. And then, and unfortunately, it kept growing from there, which is fortunate. But yeah, so like that whole dynamic with bringing one person in and it impacting. Do you both watch Southern Charm? Do either of you watch Southern Charm?
No, I have watched it before, I know, but I stopped.
I've never seen it.
I don't like to be on edge wondering when we're going to get a whitewashed history lesson, so I just stopped.
True. Makes sense. So the shakeup seems pretty good. They're adding a few more people this season, so it should be interesting.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So hopefully it's good. They're trying to add a little diversity. They're able to find a few people of color in Charleston somewhere, so they've added them.
Oh wow,
that's my thing. I feel like there are plenty to be found. They're just not. If I can't find something I'm not looking for, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how hard are you looking,
right?
And then they keep the Catherine and all of them around. That show just lost me a long time ago.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I was going to mention because Shep and Austin kind of had the same deal where Shep brought in Austin to the show.
Yeah.
And Austin sort of like found his own bearings, but it seems like there's always been like a little bit of competition with them. And I think the thing is that like some people really have more frenemies than friends, even if they don't acknowledge it. Like that person in their life isn't, and I used to have one when I was younger. I don't have the time or energy for one now. Like we're either friends or nothing, or, you know, coworkers, blah, blah, blah. But I used to have a frenemy, and it's exhausting having someone that you like, but not really, who like, you know, is sort of rooting for your downfall, like who always sees you as competition. Like that's exhausting. I feel like a lot of people end up in friendships like that. Friendships in quotes.
Yeah, I know plenty of people in friendships like that, and I'm like, you got time for that? Not me. I'm tired. Okay, I need to be able to keep it 100 with everybody all the time, though. So that's just me.
Oh, we lost.
Oh,
that's okay. He'll be back. So I was going to ask, like, what, like, let's go through. So I try to sometimes like sum it up with how we think about the different cities. So like if we talk about frenemies, people were friends, but like not really. Like let's go through the cities and see who we can think of.
Okay.
So let's start East Coast since we're already on New York, and it can be current or past. Frenemies. Mona and Jill were always frenemies. I don't feel like they were ever really friends.
I don't even know. They started as frenemies, but they just ended right at enemies. I feel like, because it was like, we can't do this anymore. But I mean, like, Bethany and Carol.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it was more of I do think that Carol cared about Bethany, and was more her friend with Bethany. I do think Bethany uses people. I think Bethany used Jill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
she's very strategic, and
she is.
I mean, we could have a whole episode on Bethany. And
I rewatched.
You love her. Owns like 3 of her books, but she's very, very strategic, which isn't a bad thing, except for the fact that she's one of those people who doesn't get that not everyone thinks like her. So she constantly puts like her manipulation and her strategy onto other people's actions and motions, and it's not always like that.
I mean, it's crazy to me because people stand Bethany and be like, oh, I can't stand LVP. And I'm like, really?
The same person.
I'm like, I mean, I will give LVP a little bit more leeway because like she was pretty manipulative and she would gloss it over.
I was gonna say LVP
like she would
hiding her cards with it.
She was like Bethany. It was just like, she is a climber, and I'm not gonna diss the lady for that, for making a life for herself. She's successful, but like the way she delivers information, like her truth is the truth, and that's what it is. And it's like, lady, just because you're talking louder and faster than everybody else doesn't mean that you're right.
Right. Yeah.
It's
fine. Like you said, it is her truth. And I think a lot of people need to realize this, like your truth is not always the truth. Even as much as like everyone else may seem right or seem wrong, like we are all still always standing in our truth of a situation, no matter what the situation is. And I think more people need to realize that. And that's a pet peeve of mine, is those people who like declare like they're speaking for everyone. And like when people are like, everybody thinks this, but I'm the only one willing to say it. It's like, well, no, I don't think it. Or maybe other people don't think it. Like, you can't assume you're speaking for everyone. And Bethany definitely does that a lot. So hard being friends with her because she comes from a place of manipulation. She thinks everyone else does. So it's hard to probably be genuine with her.
Yeah, it's like that thing they say Black people can't stand when to be you-alled or y'alled. We're like, who is y'all?
Right.
That's like, it's like that. But again, we've never seen Bethany interact with a black person at all on our TV screens.
I was about to say, did she because I actually knew Bethany before the show because I saw her on the Martha Stewart thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no clue who that lady was before New York.
I was a long time Bethany person. And on some levels, I still, like, I get why I used to like her. But I also get why she annoys me to death now,
I mean, she brought, like...
For everything she's done and success she's created. Mad respect.
I mean, I rewatched New York during original shutdown, like 2020, and I mean, yeah, I can see it because she brings like a sense of like reality, like what you're saying at home, and sometimes she'll even make fun of herself.
Yeah,
but at the same time, when Bethany is hurt, Bethany is the only person that's hurting, and she's the only person. Like the whole decimation of her and Jill's friendship. I was like, I want to jump through the screen because this woman is testing me.
Yeah.
Like you don't even want to. And I'm a Jill Zarin apologist. Okay. Yeah. For the most part. Like she gets a bad rap and I hate it.
I mean, I was Team Bethany for that whole thing, but I understand both parts. I do think that Jill was wrong in that situation, but I do think also that it wasn't anything that was so catastrophically wrong that
right
given her.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. She was wrong. She was.
Yeah, she was wrong. But I think that the argument, Bethany understood that it would make for better ratings. And I think Bethany is very, very good at weighing the pros and cons of stuff. And it's like, what would be better for me, mending this friendship with Jill or not? Like, is Jill still useful enough to still have in my life for what I need? And I think the answer was no. So she moved on.
Same thing with Carol.
Mm-hmm. But to each his own. What about New Jersey? New Jersey frenemies.
I don't know, because Jersey, they just getting it all out there.
It's hard because there's so many like families.
Right.
I feel like anyone who's friends with Danielle was in a frenemy situation. I don't think I've seen Danielle have genuine friendships with anybody. I
mean, Jackie tried to be her friend in the beginning.
Like
she really tried. Okay.
Yeah. I used to like kind of them together because I've always been like a Jacqueline person.
You like, see, I don't like Danielle with anybody. That woman.
No, I don't anymore. But like in the very beginning, I was like, oh, okay, she's not so bad.
Yeah, no, I liked Jacqueline and I still kind of do. I think she's a person that got like an unfair edit as well. Because I did like a deep dive in all of that towards the end. But I mean, the Danielle aspect, I guess I would agree everybody with Danielle was a frenemy, but I kind of think everybody with Teresa is a frenemy as well. Because she is the OG, like going
She's
against Teresa.
One of those, like, you can't be doing better than her. Like,
no.
I'm trying not to get on my Teresa soapbox because I have Teresa problems. She's another one though who I used to like love, and then I can't anymore. She's just like never any accountability.
Never.
And like it's always other people's fault. And she loves to try to gaslight people. Even though I don't know that she realizes she's doing it, but it drives me crazy.
That I can only imagine arguing with Teresa because I know me and how I argue. I probably would just start laughing like halfway through because I'd be like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Like, and she'd be like, no, girl, no. Yeah. And then she'd just flip a table. That's like Teresa actually can't argue. No. Like she's not a good like wordsmith. No. She just, because if you think about it, like prostitution whore, married 19 times, that's not a sentence. Those words don't phonetically go together. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just, and then she's just like, pay attention, please, Teresa. And that's when she flipped the table. It's like, girl, Teresa knows her strengths.
I think her intelligence is an insecurity for her.
I do too.
Understandably. But, I will say she annoys the crap out of me. I can't. But I do have so much respect for her with her kids. I think she's a really great mom with them. I think she's been through hell and back. Like, I have respect for how she's held down all the stuff she's been through, losing her parents, her husband, like she's been through so much. So as a person, I have so much respect for her in that aspect. But like, would I want to be friends with her? Like, she'd be a fun time friend, but I feel like she'd be a friend who would be hard to have substance with, because you would know you couldn't disagree with her because she would lose it. And like, how do you have a real friendship with someone when you know that you can't ever go against them?
Yeah, I just see, I agree with everything you said with Teresa, but then also like she held it down, but like the way Teresa wants to tear down other women,
yeah,
when it comes to their husbands and like say these things, Teresa, you should just sit out some things. Your husband sent you to jail, and then after he sent you, he called you all types of names on television. So please stop this. Don't do like, you don't want to go here. Okay. Yes, she has, you know, dealt with the card she's been handed pretty well for the most part, but she just says some things that absolutely just, I'm like, oh my God. Like when it comes to people's marriages and husbands, but also like what she said at the reunion when they were talking about, you know, being uncomfortable in the workplace for men, and she's just like, you let them. I was like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah, very, very old school thinking.
From a woman who's never had a job.
Right, that part. I just wouldn't let them. Girl, like, do you know what it's like working in an office when you're at any age, but especially like when you're a young teen and you're cute? Like, please, we all wish we could say we wouldn't let them talk to us that way and do that, but it's different when you're in the situation, and it's okay if you don't know, but don't judge others.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Is that because Potomac
frenemies? Karen and everybody. Karen and everybody. Karen and everybody. Like,
no, I think she has a genuine friendship with Monique. I mean,
Karen,
but I think they had a genuine friendship.
Sorry, I'm thinking current. And I mean, even honestly, not even, I mean, Giselle and Robin, those are through and through friends, but like Giselle and Karen are frenemies, but like Giselle and Candace are frenemies in a way because
Giselle
like
and everybody. Giselle does not care about anyone on that show except for Robin.
I don't even
fun, you know, because
I just
the pot because she doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, Giselle and Karen and everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like Giselle is one person I could not be, and we have the same name spelled differently, but one person. Hi, welcome back.
We're talking about on the different cast.
I heard somebody say Giselle.
Yeah, she was saying Giselle and everybody. Giselle's
a friend of me.
Everybody. Except for Robin.
Yeah, I know. She's not friend. Which is, in my opinion, Robin is Giselle's flunky. Giselle's nobody's friend. Giselle is one insecure old ass woman who can't keep a man, whose only mission on the show is to go and try to destroy other people's marriages because she can't sustain one and has never had a real one. And I need her to work on that. I need her to get herself some counseling and work on those issues, because if your children don't like you, you have a problem. If you can't keep a man, you have a problem.
Her thing is her relationship with her kids. They love her.
No, they don't like her. Because you remember last season, her girl said they did not like her. They did not like how she was acting on the show. So her kids don't like her. She has a problem. If she can't keep a man for no longer than about 6 months, that's a problem. If the only man she ever had cheated on her publicly with multiple women, that's a problem. I'm gonna need her to get some help, because she is she's bitter, she's angry, she's hateful, she's mean spirited. Because when someone sit there and take the time out to go after people's children and after their marriages constantly, shows that she has some issues deep within herself that she needs to work on, and she needs to work on it off the show.
I just can't believe the level of distaste you have for Giselle while loving Ramona.
They're different. They're different.
This is my thing with Giselle and everybody, because I've seen like all of the discourse and people being like, people need to stop going after Giselle's lack of a man. Right. Listen, there's two different things. If people were arguing with Giselle and if she wasn't coming for their marriages first, I'm all about how do we get here? Okay. Yeah. Because you talked about my marriage and my family, Giselle, you're always talking about somebody's marriage. Yep. And what is the one thing you don't have? a marriage. Okay. So I do think like it's an issue in the Black community where we're like, oh, so-and-so can't get a man, so-and-so can't keep a man. Like, I'm not going to pull that out of nowhere. But if you are constantly talking about other people's men, yes, girl, I'm going to ask where yours is, because you preach all the time about XYZ and how to keep a man. And like Giselle does need to go to therapy. Jasper is right. Because when she was there on the podcast, and she's like, this many people cheat. And then she even says, what did she say? Oh, if it's a one-time thing and you just slip up, I'm fine with that. I'll move past it. But if you continuously have affairs multiple times, then I'm not fine with it. Like with the same person. I was like, girl, cheating is a boundary for me. Okay. Yeah. I don't care if it's once or if it's a whole relationship, you're done with me.
Yeah.
But then she tells her
that way though. And I appreciate her for saying it out loud. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not into cheating. Oh, I would not. But everybody, like, yet they all stay after they get cheated on, at least.
I think it's circumstantial. So. Yeah.
I think
it's circumstantial, but then for her to just be like, men are going to cheat, period.
Right.
I'm not going to, and then she says, I want my daughters to be with somebody who appreciate them, appreciate them. But also, baby, just so you know, men cheat. My mom never said like, hey, just so you know, like, get somebody who loves you, but they're going to cheat though. It's okay if they cheat though. No, it's your decision whether you want to, forgive. All right. But I'm not going to tell somebody everybody cheats, so just deal with it. Brace yourself for that. I was just like, what are you saying right now?
Yeah, I agree. I think Giselle therapy, I think would help. I think she does have a lot of insecurities, which is awful to see because she's so beautiful. She's clearly intelligent. And it's just like, but it's like she puts so much emphasis into that. Instead of like this, more of the substance of being a woman. It's like, how do you look? Like, he's not going to want this. And it's interesting because as much as she's an independent woman, all of her cycling goes back to thinking about men and how we interact with them, how men perceive us and blah, 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 blah. It all still revolves around men, which is right. Someone who says they're so very independent and don't care. It's like, then take your thinking out of how you're perceived by men and thing.
She can't help but to be in everybody. Even like Candace this past week, Chris still got his apron pants on. It's like, he's a chef. Okay. He can have, that's what chefs wear. Like, she's just riddled in classism for me. And that's my thing. And like, she does represent like a lot of people in my life, family and otherwise, that I have issues with, because it's just like, I know you're on a TV show, but you actually don't have to say half of the shit that you say and you still could make good TV.
Yeah. But she says it because she thinks that, and because she knows it'll make good TV. She's definitely one who leans into her villain role.
She does.
She lacks intelligence, and she lacks intelligence, and I'm here to get some, because she sits on the show and says dumb shit, and then she can't handle the backlash that she receives when she says what she says.
I feel like she deals with
but
the
she
backlash
says it intentionally says it. So I'm gonna need her to get some help, because she's almost 60 and this repetitive old. Karen doesn't even, and Karen's almost in her 70s. Karen and her down.
Well, Karen's younger than Ramona. Just so we think. I'm just saying.
Yeah, younger than Ramona. But I'm saying, but Karen does not do all of it. Karen does not get into people's marriages. Doesn't do that, but she has a marriage. She respects it.
I do think part of it though is Giselle's just like stirring up trouble because she knows. I think she's one who leans into her role. She's like, okay, I'm not going to be the good one. Let Robin be, the reasonable one, and I'm going to be the shady one. So she purposely says it does the most shady thing. And I don't feel like she handles the backlash poorly. I think she shrugs it off and she's like, whatever.
Oh yeah,
she signed up for it.
I don't think she deals with it at all. I don't think she's like all types of shit about Giselle, and she does not care.
With it. Oh, she cares. I mean, she cares. I done had exchanges with this woman. She cares.
Oh,
because I dragged her like, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you said any of the stuff you just said to her face, of course she cares. I care.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So she cares because she's allowed that, because she needs help. She's very delusional, and she's not. I don't consider her beautiful. I consider she's cute. Because I'm someone beautiful, I think of different from the inward and outward. So they have to match, and hers don't match. So I wouldn't classify her as beautiful. I would say she's average, above par at best, with those swollen ankles.
Oh no,
Big
let's
ass
not.
knees.
No, let's not go there.
Yes.
So Atlanta,
Yes.
who are frenemies in Atlanta?
Oh.
I feel like I want to say
Kenya and everybody.
Kenya and everybody.
Yes, my girl
As we was
Kenya.
railing.
Yes, honey.
Yeah.
Yes. My
Your
girl
chart
Kenya.
is so crazy to me, Jasper. What? How do
Yeah,
you
I
stand
love
Kenya, but you can't stand
Kenya.
Giselle?
Right, because normally people
They're
who
not
love
they're not the
Kenya love Giselle.
same. They're not. I don't know. They're
They
not the
are
same at
Kenya,
all. No, they're
Giselle,
not. No, they're not,
Ramona.
honey.
They're
At
all
all.
actually, if
No.
anything, though, the problem with them all is that they're all cut from the same cloth, but Giselle and Kenya
No.
acknowledge the cloth, and Ramona still thinks that she is
No,
not
because
part of that cloth when she
That part. Speak
Kenya,
on it, Nyemade.
Kenya and Giselle are not the cut from the same cloth. Kenya is classy. She's beautiful. She's educated, sophisticated, and she's not insecure. Giselle's insecure. She's weak-minded, and she's not classy. She's trashy. Two different people. Different people. Kenya can care less about any people's relationships. She can care less about who's married, and this she can care less. She doesn't take her. She doesn't sit there and devote a whole season going out to somebody's marriage. She doesn't do that. Giselle does that. Two different
But
people.
she does devote a whole season of paying a man to come on and pretend to be her boyfriend.
She didn't pay. Never paid anybody. Never paid anybody.
Okay, maybe he wasn't on the payroll, but to
Well,
pretending to
because she
be.
don't have to pay anybody, honey. No, at all, honey. Every man she bought on show, every man she had on the show was with her in real life. And she never had. She's too beautiful to do that. She's too
Kenya.
gorgeous
I
to
thought
have
she
a
paid someone,
chin.
wasn't it? Like
So she
Mark-
didn't pay anybody, honey.
Mark,
her husband, her husband. They were
or
married.
not Mark.
They
What
actually
was
know
the
each other.
not Mark? What's the one before Mark? Rich?
It was
No,
Matt. It was Matt. It was Matt.
not
It was
Matt.
Matt. Then it was
Not Matt. The like her first two. Remember when they went on the trip? What it was, and then I think it was he was at somebody's vow renewal or something, and it was like, why? Who is it? Not Mark and not Matt.
I have no clue the name.
He's
The guy.
That's the point. He's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was like her one of her first two seasons. I think her second season.
But either way, Kenya's friends with everybody. So
listen, because she pisses everybody off, because when she went and got that crab cake, Miss Candy Burris was not having it. I wouldn't have either, though. I would not have either. That is so rude. I don't play with my
But that wasn't rude. That wasn't rude because first of all,
okay, I understand why you're friends
paid for the house. Production pays for the food, so it's not on Kenya more to feed some old ass bitches. They can feed their own self. So I'm sick of people saying they're mad at her because she didn't feed these old.
But she was hosting. You're the hostess. It's your job.
And if you sneak out of the house, my thing is she snuck the crab cake, tried to sneak the crab cake back in the house. Okay. If you are hungry and you go get you some cane, some crab cakes, whatever, you say, yeah, I was hungry and I didn't ask anybody. She was like, yeah, I ate, by the way. No, I'm gonna eat it right in front of you if I don't care.
Right. So clearly you care, and clearly you know you're doing something wrong.
She was very unbothered. Like she was like, it's not her job to go to have your own some crab cake. No, like it's not her job. She cared that she was nothing else. Was love and we put the confusion.
Oh.
Okay. In conclusion, what he was saying was he loves Kenya.
Yeah, loves Kenya. This is my thing with Kenya. I will agree that her and Giselle, I don't think Kenya is often going with for people's marriages. So I didn't like when the season, I'm gonna figure out that man's name. The season with that guy that she allegedly paid, I will say this. I was like, girl, please. Okay. You wanted somebody up here with you. But I don't like when they say that about Kenya.
Yeah.
I feel worse for Kenya than Giselle, because Kenya, where she came from and the name she's made of herself is amazing. Yeah, it really definitely is. She's worked really hard. She's had some really hardships. I don't like when people go after Kenya's, family life, her mom, and that. I think that's low. I think it's really low. But to understand Kenya is to understand what she's been through, why she has that sharp tongue, and why she cuts so deep. I think Kenya ultimately is hurt and doesn't trust easily, and it does stem from her mom, and that's completely understandable. But I think like this, the relationship between her and Portia. I think that's why, because she was ready to move forward with Portia and be like, okay, we can be friends. And then Portia, and I used to be a Portia apologist, was like, I just realized that I didn't want to be her friend and blah, blah. Okay, well, Portia, say that, like communicate that instead of just like being like, yeah, we'll be fine. And then
doing it later. Yeah. I'm still a Portia apologist, but I can also miss when they're wrong. And yeah, that was wrong.
Portia been wrong a lot lately.
Salt Lake City is still pretty new. And it's still the same cast, but I guess as far as frenemies, everyone and Jen, because I don't think Jen is capable of having a genuine friendship.
Yep, say that. Yep, speak on it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
I don't think she's a bad person. I think she means well on some level. I think she tries on some levels, but I don't think that she. Yeah, and I don't like to diagnose people with things because I'm not a specialist. But I do think that there is something on like the mental aspect that is stopping her from ever like really admitting that she's wrong and seeing that she's wrong. Like she almost has like narcissistic tendencies. Like it just seems like she can never say that she's wrong. And I don't think she tries to be malicious. Well, I say that, but now she's in a fraud case. So maybe she does. Maybe she fooled me. But to me, with her friendships, it seems like she does want the friendships, but the minute she's ever questioned, the minute anyone says anything wrong, like she can't handle it. And I feel like the reason why I think it leans towards narcissism, it's like it's on such a high level with her. Like I've never really seen her be able to truly admit to stuff. And even when she apologizes, and that's the reason actually why I don't think she's an actual narcissist, because she does apologize, but I don't think it's genuine. So I think she has narcissistic tendencies.
Yeah. I think that Jen Shah always wanted to be on Real Housewives.
Oh, probably.
That's what I think that she is a person that, and instead of like when you get, because we've had a few that have been like, yeah, I always want. I mean, Heather's like, I've always watched Bravo, but Jen, instead of when she saw how she was perceived, I don't even want to say leaned into it more. Like it was just like watching like a freaking railroad fly off the freaking tracks, and it like there's so many different levels of Jen that like really blow my mind, because like I think I said this on my last episode, Jen wanting to pull the racism card all the time, I think it's more so because I think it's more so that she's Black adjacent that she pulls it than her actual own race. Right. I think it's that she's Black adjacent, because I was just looking at her with her nephew, and then just her entire family. Like they are a good melting pot. Like,
the person that she is and the way that she carries herself, and then to be like, people have always had a problem with me because I'm Black. It's like, no, girl, because you fly off the handle. You could be so great, you were see-through, and your behavior would still be a problem.
She's screaming in people's faces.
Not because you're Black, it's because of your behavior, and she refuses to acknowledge that, which drives
me too, because she does have, and it just blows my mind, because she has valid arguments when she like is talking to Heather, and or whoever she was talking to, and she's like, I've had to apologize my entire life. I feel left out. Like, as a Black woman who was once a little Black girl, like, yeah, I have felt those things, and it is generally me having to, but like, girl, you're not right. Stop saying that, because next time somebody else like who actually has those,
and then you have people like us who have it, or like, I even just think back to like the way she freaks out, right? And she's like, oh, people say it because I'm Black, and then I think to like Ebony at the table calmly saying she was upset and being told she was very angry, and then the problem is you have people like Jen who are flying off the handle, blah, 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 and blaming it on their Blackness. So then when someone like, let's say like an Ebony is like, oh, you know, the Black woman card, people are like, oh, they're always saying that even when they're not.
Right.
There are many of us who literally cannot have to spend our whole lives like policing what we say and how we say it
all the time.
We want to get that label thrown at us. Meanwhile, you have someone actually flying off the handle, pretending like people are only upset because of her race, when that's not the case.
Yeah, and the things that Jen are doing also, you need to stop liking tweets. You need to stop retweeting those things, every single last one of them. Like, you need to stop doing that. You're talking about one of your castmates' son. I am a person that really does not think that kids are on limits. Like, I think kids are off limits. I don't care how old they are. Okay. I understand what
we're talking about.
I was gonna say, so, but really quick with that one, we're talking about Jen
Shah.
Jen Shaw, because we said she's the one with friend of
King Giselle, my girl. Yes, I love Jen.
I'm not
Yes, and she's not going anywhere. She's not going to
I'm
prison.
not surprised.
Oh, I think she's
Yes,
going to jail.
honey. She's not going anywhere, honey. She's
That's
not
why I
going
want
anywhere.
Meredith
She's
to
not
calm
doing
down.
that.
Jen Shaw will not be liking or retweeting anything soon.
Yeah.
She's because she don't get a phone access in jail.
It depends on how much
She's not
money
going
she
anywhere.
has.
She's not going anywhere. She's not going there.
But I was saying with the kids thing, because I do agree with like the not talking about kids. However, Brooks is like an adult and Brooks does confessionals. I don't agree with what she's been liking about him. I don't agree that she should like and she should retweet and any of that. However, I don't think he's off limits because while he is the child of a cast member, he's also an adult child who's put himself very much, it's not like she's saying stuff about his daughter, her daughter, who on there. Then I'd be like, she's not on the show, she's off limit. Brooks has very much put himself on the show as an adult. So I think he's fair game, even though I don't think she should be liking or retweeting or any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. I think that I was confused because he, like, when Meredith was like, he hasn't, come out, he hasn't discussed his sexuality.
Yeah.
I checked myself because I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Why? And that's on me. I assumed, but I think you're right, Nyemade. Like that's how I see it too. Brooks irritates the shit out of me. Like he really does, because I think he came with, I stopped watching like the middle of Salt Lake last year because he was getting on my nerves so fucking bad. Like I was like, does your mom want to be on the show or do you want to be?
I think Brooks want to be on the show. Yeah,
exactly. And that's how I feel. And now
the housewife.
Yeah, now I don't agree with like, listen, I have a vagina, okay? If somebody told me they saw my vagina and I was kicking my leg up in there, I would be embarrassed. Yeah. I really would. But I also would know how to move on from it. Like just simply, it's not like he said, oh, I saw her vagina and it was like a fucking,
it's
described it.
Thing I've ever seen. It
exactly.
In a tunnel, like it was none of that. It was like a little comment, like she's get out of water.
But it also
because it.
Yeah, go ahead, Jasper.
I was saying that my thing is he shouldn't. My thing is him saying it, but it puts out this thing because she's an older woman that she just said that like she intentionally would show herself to this younger because he was younger at the time. So it comes out to me like if anybody would see it, immediately go to this pedophilic thing, like this old woman showing her vajayjay to a young child.
Well, I mean, so if you're wearing a skirt and no underwear,
him saying it, she didn't. As far as we know, we didn't see it, and we didn't see from what they showed. We didn't see her vagina. So I don't know if he saw it. I know he said, because I took it as he was saying like, "Oh God, I don't want to see her vagina. I don't want to see it." Versus him saying he saw it. That's how I took it. Like he didn't want to see it because she was over there having fun, whatever. My thing is Meredith as his mother. Why would you have a child being around grown folks, having girls? That's my thing. Like this is your child. He should be in another room because my mama, when she had company, we was in another room. We went around grown people. So for him to be in that space with Jen Shaw enough where she's drunk or whatever, I'm looking at Meredith's mother because your child shouldn't even be in the vicinity of this woman. Period. And she's drunk. She was obviously drunk, having a good time. Y'all having girls some time.
I feel like with this one, I don't know, because again, Brooks is older. Like even though he was younger then, he was still older. I think he was still over 18 because I think he's like 20 now. So I don't think it's a problem.
How old is he?
I don't think it's a problem with him being in the room. I do think though that I think the reason why Jen can't let it go is as much as we are all focusing on she flashed her cooch. I think really, if I remember back, Brooks said a lot of like not nice things about her in general as a person. And Jen, every time she talked about them, talked about how much she loved Brooks and how much she loved the kids. So I think that while we're all talking about like, oh, she flashed this, I think what he said really hurt her feelings. I think she did actually like genuinely love Meredith's kids because she's like, I'll wear your thing, I'll support you. So I think it really hurt her feelings. And I wish that she would just admit that instead of lashing out in anger. Like I wish she would just be like, it's not even about that. It's that what Brooke said really hurt my feelings. I'm hurt. That's why I retweeted. That's why I liked all that stuff, because my feelings were hurt. And I think they could have a real conversation from that, because I really do think that's the bigger issue.
I agree with you, Nyemade. Well, like when you just said that, Nyemade, I just remembered because he did say something along the lines of like, after the like legs in the air thing, he said something along the lines to Meredith of like, why would you be friends with someone like that? Why would you be friends with her? And I remember thinking like, okay, I also don't know why Jen was yelling grinder while she kicked her legs in the air. I felt like that was like, it was two sides of uncalled for.
Right. Of course. Yep.
But like, I remember Brooks telling Meredith, like, why are you friends with her? You need to stop. And then that's when Meredith like started backing up with no context from Jen.
Yeah.
And then Jen takes it too far. She lashes out. She started talking about her marriage. She started talking about things like that. And it's
like they take it too far when they're upset.
But she had right to take it that far, because when you because Brooke sat there and came for this woman multiple times, multiple times while she was sitting there giving him praising his family and giving him love, and then she watches the show back and this youngest child sitting in confessionals like he's a housewife taking digs at this woman. So it's their game. You want to be grown, I'm gonna give you what you want, because like this is like reminiscent of Kim's daughter when she came in Kenya. They lashed back out at her. Now, when you want to get into grown people leagues and you want to be a housewife, I'm gonna give you what we do as housewives. I'm gonna shade you back.
Yeah.
Now you want to be now you want to be my level. You say grown, I can come you to the grown game. So he's not a kid. It's fair game.
I'm not. Yeah, I agree. You've talked so much and I have loved it. Really quick, we won't dive into it, but really quick for Beverly Hills, your frenemy. Who do you think had the most relationship?
Kyle and everybody.
Oh Lord.
You don't think Kyle's? I feel like Kyle's a genuine. You know what I said? We were going to discuss it, so we won't. But I don't agree.
I love will Kyle. Be here another hour if I have to talk about Kyle Richards.
You know what? And I would be here with you. Maybe we'll have to do our own like separate like, Kyle breakdown, because I team Kyle all the way.
I'm team Erica.
You want to talk about a gaslighter?
Yeah. Team Erica.
Who are you? Who did you say, Jasper?
Queen. I love me some. I'm team Erica. She's bad.
Erica?
What?
Yeah, gorgeous. She's the queen of Beverly Hills, honey. She is my favorite.
Erica Girardi?
Diamond. Yes, I love some Erica.
Is the queen of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Yes. That's her now.
Let's not forget he is the king of shade. So honestly, all your favorites are right on par.
I love her.
Erica doesn't even throw good shade.
She didn't, but she doesn't. But she does. She's doing enough. They got the girls talking about this season, and last season. They keep her name in their mouth. So she's doing enough. She don't have to throw shade. It could be a good shade, though. She's relevant on the show. It doesn't matter. She's relevant because the show is about her. Their reunion, it was about her. So we know who the queen is, honey. When it's about you, you are that girl. And you are queen, honey, sitting next to Andy. She is the queen bee. Because she's in the hot seat, and she shows about her and her life. And she's not going anywhere because she didn't steal from those people. Her husband did. She's innocent all day. Team Erica.
Well, I can't wait for the Beverly Hills cookout, because I'm sure he'll have a lot to say on that one. I was going to say Renna. Renna's my person. Renna and anyone.
Oh, yeah, Renna.